And we are live. Hello everyone, welcome to part 19 of Sonadow Play Ace Attorney, the Apollo Justice Trilogy. Joining me as per usual is my lovely girlfriend IMShadow 007. Say hello, hon.
Hello.
And we're going to wrap up case 2 of Dual Destinies tonight.
Let's go. Music.
The Monstrous Turnabout.
Day 2 trial. Time to put an end to this monstrosity. All rise. Now sit on it.
Court is back in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. Apollo Justice, defense team leader, is ready, Your Honor.
Athena Sykes, assistant defender, is ready too, Your Honor. Je suis prête.
As chipper as ever, I see. And in French, no less. And the prosecution? Very well, then. By the way, I asked Detective Fulbright to provide sturdier shackles today. There will be no more of your funny business this time, Prosecutor Blackquill. Now, your opening statement, if you would. I believe it's standard procedure for the prosecution to handle it.
Looks like the judge is really bringing it today.
He probably realized how Blackquill played him. That was one mean game, as Simon says.
Yeah. His honor has to fight to defend his honor today.
Your baldness. It's plain to see that you've already dreamed of delivering an epic opening statement.
I have? I don't know if I'd say that.
Why, of course you have. I saw it in your eyes the last time you gave the opening statement. That was the look of one who yearns deeply for the thrill of an epic opening statement. For decades now, you have been watching opening statements from your bench. They were the crown jewels of the court. The one thing you could not possess.
The crown jewels of the court?
Now, at long last, you're within your grasp. How could you possibly refuse?
Oh, so you don't mind if I do it then?
I'll make a special exception. Just this once.
Here we go again.
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Here we go again.
Yep, more of Blackwell's mind games.
Well, in that case, I think I might go ahead and make the opening statement myself. In yesterday's session, we learned the shocking truth that the victim, Alder Rex Cuby, was the Amazing Ninetails. We also learned that the Amazing Ninetails was a key figure in the yokai craze and anti-merger protests. It was further revealed that upon learning Rex Cuby's secret identity, Mayor Damien Tenma murdered him. The fact that the crime took place in a tightly locked room was also brought to light. And the only people in that tightly locked room were the defendant and the victim. The defense proposed the existence of a hypothetical third party, but further investigation revealed no proof of a third party had escaped the room.
Ergo,
we must conclude that the evidence against the defendant is, well, conclusive. Did I say something wrong?
that was quite astonishing. You've truly outdone yourself this time.
Oh, one more thing to boast about to my grandchild.
Well, this was not an unexpected turn of events.
Now then, it seems the prosecution has called a new witness to testify.
The inexplicable yokai evidence left at the scene of the crime. Well, does that not demand some sort of explanation?
The feathers and tracks? Weren't those left by the mayor while he was possessed?
That was but an act to protect his daughter.
Oh, yes, of course. I had suspected as much.
Wait, did he actually believe the mayor's award-winning performance? His daughter was the one who planted the yokai evidence. Ergo, the true identity of the yokai in the manor was the manor's maid, Jinxie Tenma.
Objection!
The prosecution is engaging mere conjecture. Would you care for some witness testimony then? For I am ready to prove that little scamp is the one behind the Tenmataro farce. Witness testimony? I'll bet he means Filch and the creep LaBelle.
Very well then. Bailiff, would you bring in the first witness?
Oh, great.
Oh boy.
Mr. Filch, you made quite the hasty exit yesterday. See that it doesn't happen again today.
Been known for my hasty retreat since I was a kid. Bit of a trademark of mine.
Indeed, you managed to give a total of 5 bailiffs the slip.
Like those amateurs could ever nab me.
Oops!
Perhaps we should shackle you by the neck. That would keep you in place.
Yipes! No, please! I'm liable to rip my own head off if I start running!
Your statement, now.
Meep.
Yes, sir, Mr. Blackhead, sir.
He may be a hasty retreat, but there's no escaping Prosecutor Blackwell.
Yeah, Blackwell doesn't strike me as the give-up-easy type. You have no idea.
Now then, Mr. Filch, your testimony, please. Specifically, the true nature of the yokai you saw in the manor shortly after the crime.
Here we go.
The yokai is Jinxie.
Tenmataro's really that little maid cow. Ain't no doubt about it. I mean, the Tenmataro I saw is just a little thing about her size. But the little runt had a big old staff. I seen it when she came into the foyer. Bet you she stole it from the Forbidden Chamber after stumbling onto the crime scene. She was going to use it to wallop me on account of my fierce reputation. I just know it.
So, Tenmataro was short in stature. And that's because it was Miss Jinxie Tenma all along.
You betcha. Besides, all the rest in the matter were way taller than her.
Feigning height is but an easy thing. But a big ox like the defendant could never pass for short. What if the Tenmataro impersonator was walking on their knees?
Weren't no knee walking. I seen it myself.
Then perhaps that yokai really was Miss Tenma after all.
All monsters are not but tricks, either of the mind or the cheap parlor variety.
So you're saying she created an illusion like one of those magical eye things?
Precisely. Human senses are easily deceived. Take the fellow in the cell next to me. Each night he cries and screams about some ghost he thinks he sees. But in truth, it was simply the janitor.
Ho ho ho! Prosecutor Blackwell just gave up the ghost, literally.
The janitor's deathly complexion and all-white attire are no doubt partially to blame. That and the fact that he constantly mutters about taking vengeance for this or that. That actually sounds like a real ghost to me.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
Present the Forbidden Chamber key on the fourth statement.
Forbidden chamber key. Where are you? There you are!
Objection!
It would seem that Tenmataro was, in fact, not this innocent little girl.
Huh? How you figure that?
You claim the Tenmataro you saw had one of those staffs from the Forbidden Chamber. But it would have been impossible for Miss Tenma to get a hold of one.
Care to elaborate, Mr. Justice?
The mayor swallowed the key shortly after the murder. He wanted to keep the killer out of the Forbidden Chamber. What's this? This key was deep in the mayor's stomach when Miss Tenma discovered the crime scene. So you see, it would have been impossible for her to get into the Forbidden Chamber. In short, the Tenmataro seen holding that staff could not have been Jinxie Tenma.
Ah! Ah! What?
He's got a box. Because he's so short.
Yeah.
But then who does the defense believe was impersonating Tenmataro?
Our Tenmataro impersonator is none other than Mayor Tenma's
Objection!
Such accusations beg evidence. Aside from his ghastly appearance, can you prove he's the yokai we seek? Yes, in fact, I can.
Very well, let's see where the defense is going with this. Mr. Justice, please show us proof as to the true identity of the Tenmataro impersonator.
The hand cream.
Take that!
We found this hand cream in the Forbidden Chamber. And we know that whoever was Tenmataro took one of the staffs out there. In short, I believe whoever this hand cream belongs to is the yokai impersonator we're looking for.
But Mr. Justice, how do you propose to identify the hand cream's owner?
I'm glad you asked, Your Honor. The defense requests a fingerprint analysis on this piece of evidence. It might tell us who it belongs to.
Interesting.
So you expect to find the yokai's prints there?
Very well. I hereby call a short recess while we wait for the fingerprint results.
No need for that, Your Baldness. We have the prints of everyone at the manor that day.
You called Prosecutor Blackwell?
Where did you come from?
I'm everywhere, Mama.
Oh my god.
Could anyone be more whipped? Fulbright, analyze this for prints. You have 3 minutes.
Your wish is my command.
Very well then. I guess we'll just wait right here.
It would seem the fingerprint analysis is complete.
What did the results show?
What in the world? They're Florent Labelle's prints, aren't they?
This is absurd!
Prosecutor Blackquill, I'm not going to like this, am I?
Don't tell me they're Tenmataro's prints.
Fingerprint analysis has revealed that the prints belong to... Phineas Filch.
Objection!
Wait, what? What?
Then Mr. LaBelle wasn't the one who entered the Forbidden Chamber?
Objection!
Why, you tricksy little tanuki. Explain yourself, now.
Sure, them prints are mine. I mean, I did pilfer that hand cream from Mr. LaBelle after all.
You little shit!
So you're the one who entered the Forbidden Chamber?
So what if I did? Got a problem with it? Yikes!
Get him, Taka!
You fool of a tanuki! Order! Order! Mr. Justice, care to explain what this could mean?
Excellent question. The fact that Mr. Filch was in the Forbidden Chamber... Wait a second. Does this mean that Tenmataro holding that staff was Phineas Filch?
Yikes! Another cat out of the bag!
Mr. Filch is Tenmataro?
I don't understand. Does this mean Mr. Filch is the real killer?
The witness will explain himself this instant.
Begging your pardon, your honorship, but I was just doing what the alderman told me. He wanted me to be Tenmataro in the village exorcism ritual.
Oh, you mean that event at Ninetails Vale Festival? So that was you inside the Tenmataro costume?
Yep, and after all the events, I went to watch that pro wrestling program. But it bored me to tears on account of the wrestlers being complete jobbers.
So he didn't actually watch the entire wrestling match.
That's when I looked at the Tenmataro costume and got a great idea. Nobody can tell if it's me while I'm wearing it. And cause of them superstitions, no matter what I do, the villagers won't say a word.
In other words, you used the superstitions to effectively render yourself invisible.
Why did you want to enter the Forbidden Chamber in the first place?
Because of the treasure there. Thought that was my big chance to sneak on and nab it.
Treasure?
Only that it's the greatest get-rich-quick chance in the universe. Grandpappy told me about it. Said there's an amazing treasure in there.
He went in there not knowing his grandfather had already pilfered it?
Guess that's one tale that didn't get passed down from grandpappy to grandson.
Clearly not. Wait, how exactly did you get into the Forbidden Chamber? There was a meeting in the Fox Chamber that day. Plus, the mayor swallowed the only key that could open the Forbidden Chamber's door. You couldn't have possibly gotten in.
I could through the air vent in the foyer. The vent's left of the ultimate picture. I went on in and made a nice little hole. Used that to get into the air duct that leads into the Forbidden Chamber, I did.
You what?
But that's how's that even possible? Wait a sec. Remember that air vent in the Forbidden Chamber? So Mr. Filch found a way to get into the air duct. And that's how he got from the foyer vent to the Forbidden Chamber vent?
So Tenmataro was nothing more than a cat burglar. Or rather, a tanuki burglar. And we're back to being without anyone to charge for the alderman's murder.
Looks like our so-called yokai is nothing more than a one big troublemaker.
Tell me, Mr. Filch, what did you do after fleeing the foyer?
I got out of that costume right quick. We just caused trouble at that point.
And where is that costume now?
Heck if I know. And it ain't my fault if you never find it.
The police searched every nook and cranny. No yokai costume was left in that manor. What if it was tossed outside the manor? Ah!
No way!
But maybe, just maybe?
I know what could have happened.
The defense seems to have hit upon the idea. Well, go on, Mr. Justice.
Okay, here's what I think. Mr. Filch, did you get rid of the costume here?
The open window on the right. See there?
Yep.
Take that!
Did you toss it out the window? Because that would certainly explain why it didn't turn up inside the manor.
You think I tossed it out the window? That costume cost me a pretty penny. So why would I do something like that?
I can think of... Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
I can think of a few reasons.
Any bright ideas, Apollo?
Well, assuming the costume really was tossed out from the window, then the next question would be, what happened to it after that? And if I'm right, I might have just the thing to prove what happened to the costume. Phineas Filch, I have just the evidence for you.
You do?
This evidence proves you got rid of your Tenmataro costume through the window.
The special edition paper.
Take that!
That's... Tenmataro flying through the sky?
And just how does that prove Mr. Filch threw his costume out the window?
It's quite simple. That's not Tenmataro in the photo, it's the costume Mr. Filch threw out.
That's crazy talk. You ain't serious, are you?
There's a steep cliff right outside the foyer window, meaning the manor's pretty high up. The costume flew through the air duct after it was tossed out. That's when the photo was taken. In other words, the photo of Tenmataro was a flight of fancy.
What?
Yikes!
Oh my, so there really never was a yokai.
No shit, Judge.
Oh, I can't keep any of them cats bagged. Can I still file a claim for the lost costume?
This more proves the defense's position. Jinxie Tenma had nothing to do with staging the yokai's sighting. Care to raise any objections, Prosecutor Blackquill? None whatsoever. I'll deal with this Trixie Tanuki after I've dealt with this case.
Yipes!
But we did it!
Good going. Now all we have to do is make Florent LaBelle take the stand.
Objection!
Sheathing the sword a bit early, are we not? Huh? Nothing has been proven beyond a doubt. Take this tricksy little Tanuki, for instance. How do you suppose he was able to exit the Forbidden Chamber? Probably the same way he got in, through the chamber's air vent. And what of the feathers and tracks at the scene of the crime? They would suggest that the Tanuki exited through the chamber door, not the air vent.
Objection!
But the Forbidden Chamber doesn't open from the inside. So what you're saying makes no sense. Right? Someone on the outside opened the door for you. Isn't that right?
Yep, that's right, Mr. Blackjack. The door suddenly sprung right open.
Hold it!
Mr. Blackjack.
Sprung right open? Who was on the other side?
Didn't get a good look on account of the sudden glare.
Like how the reflection from my head blinds fellow moviegoers emerging from the dark.
That's when I snatched that staff and made my daring escape. And then that little maid gal spotted me as I hightailed it down the hall.
That means the Forbidden Chamber wasn't open until after the crime was discovered.
But wait. We still don't know who opened it. Maybe there really was a third person in the Fox Chamber.
Objection!
Well, you little Tanuki. When the Forbidden Chamber opened, did you see the accused passed out there?
Nope, only one there was the alderman, and he was dead as a doornail.
If the accused wasn't there, what do you suppose he was up to? Uh-oh, I don't like where this is going.
Ah! Don't tell me! Plainly, the only one who could have opened the Forbidden Chamber was the accused, Damien Tenma. Ah!
Hold it! Wait a second! There had to be somebody else besides Mayor Tenma there.
Really? Who might that be?
Oh, well, that would
Objection!
It seems our feisty little lass has forgotten the most important thing. Evidence.
I didn't forget. I was just testing your attention to details.
Miss Sykes, you can't prove your point without proof of some sort. It's a proven fact.
Sorry. Guess I put my foot in my mouth again.
No, Athena, we're definitely onto something here.
We are?
Think about it. If Filch was stuck inside the Forbidden Chamber, one of the alibis we heard would no longer hold any water. The defense would like to call a new witness to the stand. Someone who knew Mr. Filch was stuck in the Forbidden Chamber. And by virtue of knowing this, he has an alibi that no longer adds up. Ah, not that insufferable. Very well, the court will hear what Mr. Justice has to say. Whose alibi no longer adds up?
Florent LaBelle!
Take that!
That's the defendant's aide, Florent LaBelle. Didn't he claim to be in the foyer at the time of the crime? True, but in his alibi he also claimed Mr. Filch was in the foyer too. However, as we all know now, Mr. Filch was not there with Mr. LaBelle at the time. In short, Mr. LaBelle's alibi has disappeared. Ugh. Florent LaBelle's alibi was one big lie. Isn't that right, Mr. Filch?
I reckon there ain't no keeping that cat in the bag here neither. It was all Mr. LaBelle's idea. He told me he'd button his lip about me breaking into the Forbidden Chamber, and in return he said he'd vouch for each other's alibi.
Shame on you, Mr. Filch. Perjury is a serious crime, you know.
Yeah, but in the world of Ace Attorney, it seems to be committed in every trial.
Yeah, I know, especially by the prosecutors.
Oh, shucks. Mercy, Your Honorship. Mercy! Ah!
I also assert that the person who opened the Forbidden Chamber for Mr. Filch was none other than Florent LaBelle. After all, his alibi has just been proven to be a complete fabrication.
I see. We'll take a 20-minute recess, after which we will see what Mr. LaBelle has to say for himself. Yes! We're finally going to drag that slippery snake onto the stand. In the meantime, the prosecution will question Mr. LaBelle about these new allegations.
All right. We did it, Apollo! We finally dragged Mr. LaBelle into court!
Yeah,
Hey, why the long face?
I can't help but feel I'm missing something important. Plus, Prosecutor Blackwell's bound to mount a counterattack.
You really are a worrywart, aren't you? I'll be fine! That mystery figure who opened the Forbidden Chamber for Mr. Filch.
Glass is always half full with you, isn't it, Athena?
Yep. Had to have been Florent LaBelle.
I know, but that's not what's bugging me. I wish I could put my finger on it, though.
At any rate, the big showdown with Mr. LaBelle's up next, so chin up, Apollo. Suck it up, Buttercup! I imagine Athena saying that.
court is back in session. Our next witness is...
Joker?
Yes, I'm acting on behalf of the mayor in this very important matter. Yeah, you can tell that was intentional.
Yeah, it's fucking Joker!
It seems the witness is predisposed at the moment.
Ew.
Surely.
Ew. Let's go. Ew, it's the Jared Leto Joker. Take it away.
Surely you jest. I will hold you to your promise, remember that. Oh, my deepest apologies. This is Florent LaBelle, personal aide to Mayor Tenma. Or should I say, the accused. Ouch. Like the poor mayor hasn't suffered enough. Well, what business do you have with me? I'm a very busy man, so let's make this as brief as possible. Your baldness.
Ah, right. Mr. Filch's testimony has revealed a hole in your alibi. And for this reason, you are suspected of having some sort of connection with this case at hand.
To think I'd be associated with this entirely lurid affair. Well, I'm not, so may I go now? I have very important matters to attend to.
Objection!
I don't think so, Mr. LaBelle. Do you realize what serious crime you've committed?
Witness, you are being accused of perjury. This is your chance to clear the air.
Fine. The truth is I faked my alibi for a very good reason. The mayor was obviously the killer, so I created a fake alibi to confuse the matter. You see, as his personal aide, I felt I had to protect him. Sorry! You think this is funny? Without your alibi, you're a suspect too! What were you really doing at the time of the crime? Peasant, how dare you accuse me, one of the most beautiful
Objection!
Rude.
Stop stalling and tell the crew what you were really doing at the time of the crime!
Silence!
Yes, sir.
Enough jabbering. Swords have been drawn. The time for talk is past. Swords? What swords? This is a duel to the death. The fate of the accused rests in your hands.
Don't you mean a duel of destinies?
Begone, ye of cowardly heart. The battlefield hath no place for ye.
The timing? Oh my god, the timing of that. He basically told me to shut up.
Spare me, please!
Sir!
So much for sturdier shackles. Yay! Those chains hindered my vow that heads would roll this day. This gives keeping your head in court a whole new meaning. Will the witness please deliver the accused death knell? Or knell, whoever says.
That now.
You know what I speak. Most certainly. His goose is already cooked. Time to stick a fork in him. Whatever he has to say can't be good. As I told Prosecutor Blackwell during the recess, I rushed right over to the Fox chamber when I heard little Jinxie scream. What? Then, drumroll please, I saw Mayor Tenma opening the Forbidden Chamber doors. But... There you have it. The mystery man who opened the chamber door, as witnessed by one Phineas Filch. It was the accused. There was never any third party. Oh, and that's not all. I heard something quite startling there at the scene of the crime. Startling sounds bad. The mayor, who was barely conscious, muttered this.
Forgive me, Jinxie. I killed the alderman.
That's right. The mayor actually confessed to the murder right then and there.
He confessed? Order! Order in the court! This is quite conclusive testimony if it stands.
Just so, and quite astonishing, I might add. I only learned of this fact during the recess. I just love surprises, don't you? That's why I saved the best for last. Consider it a gift from me to you.
No way. I don't believe Mr. LaBelle heard the mayor confess.
But is this really true? Did Mayor Tenma really confess?
It is indeed. During that last recess, I confirmed it with the mayor's daughter. It would seem Mayor Tenma actually did confess.
That testimony is quite favorable to the prosecutions.
This is LaBelle.
Rude.
Yes, I called earlier about the party reservations. That's right, and I'll be calling my little shindig Mayor Tenma's conviction gala. A splendid time is guaranteed for all but the mayor and his defense.
Well, as it seems, our witness is a very busy man. Let's get right to his testimony. Mr. LaBelle, please tell us what you saw when you came upon the scene of the crime.
I was in the hallway, hiding in the shadows. That's when I heard the confession. Upon learning of her father's crimes, little Jinxie, without ever noticing me, immediately after that, the mayor came to, stood up and opened the forbidden chamber. As I ran in terror, the demon emerged from his prison. In shock, I fled down the hallway to my right, to the one with the phone at the end.
I must say, this is a shocking revelation. Quite unexpected. To think the defendant actually confessed then and there to his crime.
Perhaps the guilt was too much to bear, so he confided in his daughter.
You do realize you should not have withheld such crucial testimony from the court.
Once again, sorry. It's just I feared being accused if I mentioned coming up upon the most unpleasant scene. Ugh, why did the mayor's confession have to be brought up by this guy?
We better do something before the judge declares the mayor guilty.
As a death row inmate once told me in years gone by, there is a time to fight and a time to yield. A time to live and a time to die. Ugh. He's laying it on real thick now.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
Present Jinxie's statement on the fifth statement.
Jinxie's statement. Where are you, Jinxie's statement? There you are.
Objection!
Because if he really did flee down the hallway, she would have seen him.
Florent LaBelle, you're lying about having witnessed these events from the hallway. What on earth do you mean?
Yes, care to fill the rest of us in, Mr. Justice?
If Mr. LaBelle had really fled down the hall with the phone in it, he would have crossed paths with Miss Tenma.
What's this?
After she discovered the crime scene, she immediately went to call the police. Then, after making her call, she went back to the main hallway, whereupon she encountered the demon yokai, or whatever you want to call it. As for me, I call it Phineas Filch in a Tenma Taro costume. The encounter happened right here where the hallways meet. As for Mr. LaBelle, if he had fled here, feigning escape from the yokai imposter,
why yes, the two would have crossed paths.
Right, except Miss Tenma told us there was no one else in the hall. In short, Miss Tenma did not really see you in the hall because you were never really there. Ah! My eyes! My beautiful eyes! Not such a fabulous scent now, is it?
But Mr. Justice, the witness also stated that he heard the mayor confess. If he was lying about hearing the confession from the hall, then where was he when he heard it?
Inside the Fox Chamber. Where else?
But isn't that within the very crime scene?
It is, Your Honor, and that means he's not really a witness. Rather, he's the third party I've been alleging this whole time. What? You think I'm the killer? How dare you?
Silence!
Yes, sir. Every time he says that, I'm just gonna say, yes, sir.
Foolish fop. A true man knows when he's beaten. A shield of lies comes to naught before a foe with the sword of truth bared. Prosecutor Blackquill, what are you? I thought we were on the same side! You are mistaken. There are no sides here, save for my cold, steely edge of judgment.
You are alone upon this battlefield, with naught but your lies and sickly sweet perfume.
Oh, what just happened? Blackwell's really tearing into him.
You heard the mayor's confession from the inside, did you not, you deviant dandy?
Oh,
For the sole location from which you could have seen and heard the mayor and the Tanuki, without either of them noticing you were right there in the fox chamber.
Oh my! So that's how it's going to be. Fine, I'll come clean then.
Seriously? You admit to being there in the fox chamber?
I do. I did enter the room after the murder. But I was afraid of being falsely accused, so I lied about it. I feel terrible about lying like that, but it's a verbal cologne I use to protect myself.
bullshit.
You'd better explain yourself, Mr. LaBelle.
Yes, of course. I was just about to get to that.
The witness is skating on thin ice. I remind you that perjury is a very serious crime. Now let's hear your testimony again, this time without your perfume of lies.
I did enter the fox chamber after the murder, but I didn't enter until after Jinxie had heard the confession and left. I heard the mayor's groan and hid behind the folding screen there. What I saw there up close, it was absolutely horrifying. So you see, I was there, but merely watching from behind the screen.
From behind the screen? Why yes, I believe you wouldn't be spotted if you were there.
Just so he could see everything without being spotted by the victim or that Tanuki Filch. Suffice to say, he was a mere witness to the events rather than an actual third party.
This guy's as slippery as an eel.
Apollo, you think he's telling the truth?
Well, he was in the fox chamber, so at least that much must be true.
The defense may cross-examine our slightly voyeuristic witness.
Press on the fourth statement.
Hold it!
Could you describe the crime scene in a bit more detail? And what exactly would you like details about? Well, what I'd like to ask you about is...
The murder weapon.
Could you describe the state of the weapons that had been used at the scene? The spear had been thrust all the way through Alderman Cubey. Then there was that statue the Alderman used to bludgeon Mayor Tenma. That incredibly inspiring symbol had fallen to the floor. Oh right, the statue. But why would he find it inspiring? Why exactly did you find the statue inspiring? Well, when I saw that statue, I felt as if the merger had been realized. It was like a celebration of union between town and village, an inspiring symbol of goodwill. A broken statue next to a bloody corpse. Real inspiring.
Well, Mr. Justice, do you consider his statement to have any importance?
Is it important?
Yes.
I believe that to be extremely important. I request that it be added to the testimony.
This is new.
I figured. A statue had fallen to the floor. It was a token of goodwill celebrating the municipal merger.
Present the fox and demon statue.
Objection!
Your lies have finally betrayed you, Mr. LaBelle. What possibly could you mean? You said this statue was like a celebration of union between town and village. Isn't that correct? It is indeed, but what of it? The two yokai are joining hands in goodwill, as if they were celebrating the municipal merger. Something the matter? So, How did you really know that this statue was meant to be a symbol of goodwill again? What? Justice Dodo, explain yourself, and make it quick. This statue was meant to symbolize goodwill in its original form, but that was a secret. A secret? Whatever do you mean? What I mean is that it broke when someone used it to strike Mayor Tenma on the head. What's left clearly makes it look like the two yokai are battling it out. The statue's secret and its true form were lost inside that locked room. For Miss Tenma is the only living soul who should know what it once looked like. So, Mr. LaBelle, where could you have possibly seen that statue in its original form?
Uh-oh.
What do you mean, where? The only possible answer is this. You saw the statue in its original form right there in the room where the alderman was murdered before it was broken. How dare you!
Mr. Justice, are you accusing the witness with some sort of crime?
Yes. Yes, I am. Florent LaBelle, I accuse you of the murder of Alderman Rex Cuby.
Ah! Oh, me sexy eyes!
Order! Order! Mr. LaBelle, you've been accused of murder. Do you have anything to say in your defense?
How could you possibly accuse me, the embodiment of beauty?
Way to go, Apollo! This is the conclusive evidence we needed. Magnifico!
We've got you now. We know you killed the alderman. Now admit it.
Silence.
Yes, sir.
Silence. Enough of your silly games, Justice Dodo. This prancing peacock could not possibly be the killer.
Objection!
What are you talking about? His alibi has already crumbled to dust. And I just proved that he was in the Fox chamber while it was still locked tight.
Silence.
Okay.
Why could he have not seen the statue in its true form before the murder? After all, he was close friends with the alderman. Ergo...
Yes, that's right. I clearly remember it now. Alderman Cuby told me about it. About what the statue actually looked like. I mean, he was a good friend of mine.
Objection! Yeah, right! He wouldn't show you a secret gift just like that!
Silence.
I surrender!
Moreover, it has already been proven that he was not present at the scene of the crime.
It has?
Forgotten, have we? Recall the little scamp's statement, if you will. When Jinxie Tenma unlocked the Fox chamber, she saw the alderman and the mayor collapse therein, and no one else.
Oh,
Dang it!
fuck.
The fact is, it was you two who made that apparent in yesterday's court session. Thus, Florent LaBelle could not possibly have been in that locked room.
No!
I just don't get it. How could Jinxie not have seen LaBelle? The proof is incontrovertible. No room for debate exists.
Wolf Earl Mettaton from Undertale.
Yep. Am I not right, your baldness? It does seem awfully conclusive. The facts point to the defendant and the victim being the only people in that locked room. Moreover, the defendant has already confessed.
Objection! Silence.
I surrender!
You cannot defend the indefensible. Your role in this charade is over, Justice Dodo. But your baldness. This trial would last an eternity if we were to keep crossing blades with these simpletons. It is high time you brought down the hammer of justice.
A point well made. I believe it's time to declare a verdict. This court finds the defendant, Damien Tenma,
Speak of the devil.
It would seem that my time is at hand.
Mayor Tenma?
Counselor, there is a matter to which I must testify. I recall now only for your good graces.
Counselor? Oh right, he must mean me. Has he finally remembered what happened before that blow to his head?
Bailiff, don't just stand there. Seize him. It's no good. I can't restrain him. Ha ha! Know me in despair. For I am Tenma Taro, Demon Lord of the Yokai. Mr. Justice, do something!
Since when am I responsible for court security?
Apollo, this is our chance. We might get some new information out of him.
Your Honor, seeing as our client has something new to say, I believe due process demands that we hear him out, even if he is a yokai.
When you put it that way. Still, I believe testimony by a yokai is unprecedented in the legal world.
Unprecedented in absurdity, more like.
All right then, Mr. Damien Tenma, or should I say, Mr. Tenma Taro. Your testimony, please. I shall now speak of recollections most real, courtesy of my host, Damien Tenma. Heed these words, mortals, for hear them but once you shall. Ha 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 ha! Barely conscious was Damien there amid the darkness. Suddenly, two yokai did appear. On one side, I, Tenma Taro, ruler of demonkind, and on the other, my mortal enemy, the nine-tailed fox.
Okay.
So is the defendant asserting that the room he was in was very dark at the time? Strange as it may be, yes indeed, all was in darkness.
And the part about Tenma Taro and the nine-tailed fox being there?
Yes, that too! Tenma Taro towered overhead with the nine-tailed fox glittered gold. I call animal abuse, Your Honor!
It would seem the defendant's recollections are not to be trusted.
Yes, well, truth be told, my host's recollections are still a bit fuzzy.
As if half-dreamt that happening lingers in his mind.
Apollo, maybe I can help here.
Finally, give my voice a break. Really? Oh, you mean...
Yeah, I can hear it. The discord in his heart. I sense an unusual emotion in the mayor's memory of the event.
Okay, I just hope our findings don't come back to haunt us.
Go to the fourth statement. He's happy. Pinpoint the happiness.
Got it!
When the nine-tailed fox appeared, you not only experienced shock and sadness, but also something like joy as well.
Joy? Perhaps it was joy at the light coming to my eyes at long last. A long and terrible creaking it pierced the silence. And then there was light. On reflection, it was a door that did produce that infernal racket.
A creaking door. Oh, you must be talking about the Forbidden Chamber door. It does make a lot of noise.
So this means the Forbidden Chamber really was opened. What about the sudden light he described?
I think I know. He mentioned darkness and Tenma Taro towering overhead. Maybe the mayor wasn't really in the Fox Chamber at the time of the crime. Mr. Mayor, did the darkness that you were in happen to be here?
The Fox, present the Fox Chamber.
Take that!
Mayor Tenma, the darkness you were in was right here.
You claim I was there?
No such recollection do I possess.
That's just because your memory's still hazy. On further reflection, I believe that you are gravely misguided. Huh? You mean?
He means you got the wrong one, Apollo.
Counselor, I expect attempts of a more serious nature from you. Alright, let's think that one over again.
Wait, what? Wait, hold on. The Forbidden Chamber. Duh, sorry.
Take that!
I was wrong. I got the words mixed up.
The Forbidden Chamber? Was it not the Fox Chamber where the murder did occur? Yes, but it all makes sense if you were in the Forbidden Chamber. That terrible creaking sound was probably the Forbidden Chamber's door opening. And the towering Tenmataro you saw? Most likely the Forbidden Chamber statue. Why, yes! That would explain it.
My bad, folks.
Don't worry about it. The darkness and the staff and the demon's grasp.
I'm glad I didn't get a penalty. But even if all that's true, then what about the nine-tailed fox?
Maybe he was seeing things just like Jinxie and her imaginary yokai?
Fantastico, Apollo. It's entirely possible. In a groggy, dreamlike state, people can misremember things and events.
Misremember, you say? Let me think. I do believe... I remember now! That was not the nine-tailed fox. It was... the Amazing Ninetales! What? The Amazing Ninetales? At first, this is but a dream, I thought. Now, however, most clearly do I recall it. 'Twas the Amazing Ninetales who did open the Forbidden Chamber's door.
Still going down.
I'm sorry I asked.
The Amazing Ninetales? But that was the victim Alderman QB, right?
Yeah, why would he open the Forbidden Chamber? Wasn't he trying to keep it sealed?
Never mind that. This is completely new information. Let me enter it and run an update. Okay. Go to the fourth statement. Okay. On the fourth statement, pinpoint the sadness.
Got it!
When the Amazing Ninetales opened the chamber, banishing the darkness within, you felt joy, but didn't you also feel shock and sadness? Yes, in the hazy depths of my mind, I do recollect something of that nature. I believe it was the fiend's cape of red. For when I did behold it, a great wave of sadness did inexplicably wash over me.
Getting warmer.
A cape of red?
Apollo, we reduced the noise level. Oh, there's still a little left.
Mertenma, why were you sad when you saw the red cape? Why indeed? What could this mean?
I guess his memory is still a little spotty. I know because his latest recollection contradicts the evidence.
Yeah, it's one of those contradictions that slaps you right across the face.
Something as obvious could arise. When someone is trying to force a fuzzy memory into a definitive shape. Apollo, I know what you have to do. You need to present evidence that contradicts the image you see.
Oh, so it's basically the same as the usual cross-examination process. Okay, time to review the evidence. Look out contradictions. Here comes justice.
Go to the fourth statement and present the Amazing Ninetales glossy.
Objection!
You said the Amazing Ninetales cape was red. Are you sure about that? Yes, well, I do believe it was a red cape I saw, but... Mayor Tenma, does this cape look red to you? Oh, that certainly does not look red. Not even scarlet or crimson either. Nevertheless, upon my liberation, something red did fill my as yet hazy field of view. And I thought to myself, the amazing Ninetales is arrayed in a cape of red. So you mistook the red something for his cape, huh?
Blunt trauma.
Apparently so, and I remember it now. Brings a great sadness upon me.
So the red something probably wasn't a cape after all. Maybe that great sadness he mentioned is what's interfering with his memory.
Well, he would have seen the fox chamber behind the amazing Ninetales. What red object could have seen there that would have been that shocking? I know! Could it have been... Mr. Mayor, was the red thing you saw this?
The crime photo.
Take that!
Something red that could produce a deep sadness. Could it be Mr. Tenma that you saw with was the alderman's blood? Blood? What? Yes! It was blood!
It's all coming back!
It's all coming back to me now. It wasn't a red cape that I saw. It was lying behind the amazing Ninetales, the alderman's bloody body!
Jesus. His noise level is down to 0. I think he's remembered everything now.
Does this mean the amazing Ninetales killed Alderman Cubey?
But the Alderman was the amazing Ninetales, so how exactly would that work?
Hey, I asked you first. Well, Mr. Justice, you sure know how to make a complicated matter even more complicated. True, but at the time of the crime, our client was in the Forbidden Chamber. Moreover...
Silence!
God damn it.
I concede!
Boy, don't you think this strange? The little scamp had already confirmed her father to be in the Fox Chamber, but she said not about seeing the amazing Ninetales there. You just had to bring that up, didn't you?
Think she didn't see LaBelle there either. It's so weird. Who really was in that room then?
Would the defense care to share any theories with the court? Can you explain the inconsistency between the defendant's testimony and his daughter's?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, of course I can explain it. Because if I don't, we're in serious trouble. Because if I don't, we're fucked.
Pretty much.
Not with more of your bluffs and fairy tales, I trust. Fair warning, Justice Dono. I shall have your head if you fail to explain this. Yep. What about a good old-fashioned penalty? Let's not cut each other's heads off? Well, Mr. Justice, let's see if you have a head worth keeping on your shoulders. First of all, Mr. LaBelle was definitely in the Fox Chamber while it was locked. We also know that Mayor Tenma was in the Forbidden Chamber based on his testimony. These two facts are crucial to my explanation. So let us consider the following question. If the facts point to Florent LaBelle and the victim being there at the scene, why did Jinxie Tenma see the victim and her father, Mayor Tenma? A very good question indeed, and I suppose you have an answer for us. Sadly, you would be supposing wrong.
You think she could have mistaken LaBelle for the mayor?
Well, if she did, then the question is, why did she do that? How about the explanation, Mr. Justice? I believe the time for questions is over. The defense asserts that Florent LaBelle was at the scene of the crime. However, Jinxie Tenma has testified that she saw her father collapse there. If she has in fact misremembered the event, what could have made her do so?
LaBelle was disguised as Tenma.
The figure Miss Tenma saw was not her father. It was Florent LaBelle, disguised as Damien Tenma.
Silence!
That is a complete impossibility. Their faces are utterly unalike. How could you explain that away with a mere disguise? Yes, they both do have incredibly distinctive faces.
Maybe the disguise completely hid his face?
I think Jinxie would have mentioned if she could have seen her father's face.
And if it was that sort of disguise, wouldn't she have removed it?
Oh, right.
Your sword is as dull as your mind, Justice Dodo. Shall I show you what a truly sharp blade is capable of?
I think I'll... Jesus!
Wasted!
Knocked out. Are you okay, Apollo?
Ever recently! I'm not fine, am I? Well, now that we have a little fairy tale out of the way,
Your baldness, your verdict, if you will. Mr. Justice, I believe it's time for a verdict if you have no further arguments.
What's even left for me to do?
Apollo, remember what Mr. Wright always says? When you're stuck in a tight spot, turn the case upside down.
Turn the case upside down. He does say that, doesn't he? But I don't quite see how it applies here. Still, never hurts to give it a try, I guess. Let's see. Rather than Jinxie didn't remove the disguise, maybe she couldn't remove it. And rather than she didn't tell anyone about the disguise, maybe it was she couldn't talk about it.
A wrestler's mask is more precious than his own life. Never unmask himself in front of others. But there are matches where wrestlers battle for the right to remove each other's masks. To have your mask torn off is the worst humiliation a wrestler could suffer. That's why their masks are important to them in their life itself.
And what about the fact that it was the amazing Ninetales who opened the door? A mask that can't be removed in front of others. Can these facts turn things around? We got it all backwards!
Apollo?
I think we might have made a huge mistake.
Your baldness, I see no need to further indulge in their silly little farce. The defense has no proof. They never did, and they never will. Then it seems I must announce my verdict.
Objection!
For fuck's sake!
I do have proof! Do you now?
All right, but this better be good, Mr. Justice.
We can solve the remaining riddles by turning all our assumptions upside down. Why Jinxie Tenma mistook Mr. LaBelle for her father. Why she couldn't remove the costume or tell anyone about it in the first place. These riddles are inextricably linked to Mayor Tenma's secret identity. A shocking secret identity that will turn the entire premise of this case upside down. This piece of evidence clearly reveals Mayor Tenma's secret identity.
The mask!
Take that!
Ah! What absolute claptrap! Poppycock balderdash!
I'm British!
Yeah, but I ain't giving him a British accent. We thought the alderman was the amazing Ninetales, and the mayor was Tenma Taro. That's why we believed the mayor killed the alderman in his lust for Ninetales' veil. And it was that basis for the prosecution's entire case against our client. However, we got the whole thing backwards. Mayor Tenma wasn't Tenma Taro at all. He was the amazing Ninetales.
What's this? You best explain yourself, Justice Dono.
And from where you derive such a far-fetched conclusion? Jinxie no doubt knew the true identity of the amazing Ninetales, but she couldn't tell anyone no matter what. That's why she didn't say it was the amazing Ninetales she saw passed out. even though unbeknownst to her, it was really Florent LaBelle in disguise.
Silence!
The accused and that deceitful dandy are utterly dissimilar in physical build and voice. The little scamp would have seen the difference.
Objection!
Remember Mr. LaBelle had his very own brand of cosmetics? Why couldn't he fake a different build too? And anyone speaking through a mask would naturally sound different.
Silence!
Why did she not simply pull the mask off?
Objection!
A masked wrestler's disguise is more precious than life itself. As a huge fan of the amazing Ninetales, she would never dare unmask him. Yeah. This case of mistaken identity also explains the riddle of the locked room.
Then by all means, Mr. Justice, answer for us already.
First, Mr. LaBelle entered the room where the mayor and the alderman were talking. I suspect he brought with him coffee laced with some sort of sedative. Once the alderman was out cold, that's when Mr. LaBelle killed him. Next, he took the mayor, who had also drugged into the forbidden chamber. Then he returned to the Fox chamber, slipped into some of the mayor's spare clothes, and completed the disguise by donning the amazing Ninetales mask. With his entire charade in place, Mr. LaBelle then let out a scream. The scream that led Jinxie Tenma to the scene.
Ah! So then... the person who said, I killed Alderman Cubey was...
Yep, that was Florent LaBelle in disguise. The mayor never actually confessed.
Silence!
This is no more than guesswork and speculation. Now stop your jabbering and...
Objection!
No, you twisted samurai. This time, you stop your jabbering and let me finish making my case. Ugh. Once Miss Tenma left the scene, Mr. LaBelle, still wearing the mayor's clothes and mask, opened the forbidden chamber, so he could drag the mayor back into the Fox chamber.
Oh, so the amazing Ninetales the mayor saw was...
Right, it was LaBelle opening the forbidden chamber. The second time Mr. LaBelle opened the door to the forbidden chamber, he happened to catch the thieving Mr. Filch by surprise. Startled, Mr. Filch in his Tenmataro disguise ran as fast as he could away from the room. As he did, he left behind him a trail of feathers and tracks, and gave Miss Tenma the scare of her life in the hallway. With no one left to witness the event that had occurred, Mr. LaBelle then proceeded to drag the sleeping mayor back into the Fox chamber.
I see. Well, that certainly does make sense.
Then, after dragging the mayor back into the Fox chamber, Mr. LaBelle threw the mask out of the window and fled the room.
Silence!
For this absurd theory to work, it requires that the defendant be the amazing Ninetales. However, he was the one pushing for the municipal merger. That such an individual could possibly be the amazing Ninetales is preposterous.
Objection!
The mayor was blackmailed into pursuing the merger. Miss Tenma's life would have been in danger if he had openly voiced his opposition. That's why he created a secret identity as the amazing Ninetales. This is madness. No one could possibly hatch such an insane plot. Dude, this is Ace Attorney.
I know, right?
No one except a killer as insane as his plot, and I'd say Florent LaBelle more than qualifies.
Foolish mortal!
It is at your own peril that you forget who I am. Mayor Tenma, it's okay now. Jinxie will be safe just as soon as Miss LaBelle is arrested. You are the amazing Ninetales, aren't you?
was that?
Of course.
And his hair changed again.
You have quite the active imagination. Mayor Tenma is not the amazing Ninetales.
Objection!
What do you mean? Well, has the mayor admitted to it yet? But that's just... And even if he did admit to such nonsense, I would reveal the truth behind Tenma Taro right here and now. What?
Why, you would dare reveal the secret?
A good friend, the alderman, told me all about it. But it wouldn't be good to expose the truth with what the superstitions now... What with the superstitions now, would it? The truth behind Tenma Taro. What's he talking about? So go ahead, say it! Say I am the amazing Ninetales. I dare you.
Objection!
Wait! Will somebody please explain what's going on here? Mayor Tenma will do anything to keep the truth behind Tenma Taro a secret. A dark, terrible truth that has been kept secret by the village superstitions. And if the mayor admits to being the amazing Ninetales, you'll expose the truth? Right, I won't have him walking free because of some nonsense you made up. So what now, Justice Dodo? Without the mayor's admission, your theory is as useless as you are in battle. I'll show you who's useless.
Apollo, don't you dare give up now!
I know! Your Honor, I believe Mr. LaBelle's statements warrant a thorough cross-examination. After all, the true identity of the amazing Ninetales is the cornerstone of this case.
You do have a point there. Please answer this court, Mr. LaBelle. Is the defendant the amazing Ninetales or not?
Right.
The amazing Ninetales' true identity is not Mayor Tenma. The mayor would never admit to such utter nonsense. But if he did admit to such nonsense, I will expose the truth behind Tenma Taro right here and now. And that would bring ruin upon the Ninetales Vale, just as the superstitions say. Talk about out of the pot and into the fire. At this rate, the mayor will be found guilty for sure.
Honestly speaking, if Mayor Damien Tenma is not the amazing Ninetales, I'm afraid I don't see how the defense has much of a case here.
And let's just leave it at that, shall we? We all know that Alderman Cuby was the amazing Ninetales anyway. I mean, that's how Ninetales Vale made a comeback. The alderman was so popular. There's gotta be a hole in that testimony somewhere. But I don't even know where to start.
Since we don't have any proof that the mayor is the amazing Ninetales, then we'll just have to get him to admit himself.
But if he admits it, LaBelle's going to expose the secret behind Tenma Taro. Oh, we're so close, I know it.
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
Press on the fifth statement.
Hold it!
Do not gaze upon Tenma Taro. Do not tell others if you see him. Isn't that what the village superstitions say? Exactly! Telling others what Tenma Taro looks like would reveal the truth. That's why the superstitions were written down in the first place. And ruin coming to the village if you free him? Is that a warning not to expose the truth? Bingo! And the truth is, Tenma Taro is a great greed inspiring fortune. That's what the whole battle over Ninetales Vale is about. Tenma Taro was a great fortune. Come to think of it.
Only that it's the greatest get-rich-quick chance in the universe. Grandpappy told me about it. Said there's an amazing treasure in there.
Tenmataro actually be?
The Forbidden Chamber treasure.
Telling the villagers that Tenmataro is a terrifying yokai is what has scared them away from the Forbidden Chamber and the treasure within. That's how the treasure's been kept secret all this time.
Well, well, well. It seems our ace attorney here has uncovered the truth that must not be revealed.
Roll credits.
Mayor Tenma looks like he wants to keep the truth hidden as much as I do.
Tragedy is doomed to repeat itself as long as Tenmataro exists. That's why the secret must be protected.
As long as Tenmataro exists, huh?
Mr. LaBelle, please add that statement to your testimony. Tragedy is doomed to repeat it as long as Tenmataro exists.
Present the Azuki Kozo figure.
Suzuki Kozo figure.
Objection!
Mr. LaBelle, what if Tenmataro no longer existed? Revealing the truth would no longer be an issue, would it? If Tenmataro no longer existed... What on earth are you talking about? Oh, apparently you haven't heard. Tenmataro no longer exists. But I guess you didn't get to do a thorough search after the key was taken from you. Because when we searched the Forbidden Chamber, there wasn't any treasure there. Really? Well, maybe you weren't looking in the right place. Sorry, but I have proof that Tenmataro no longer exists. Take a look at this figure.
What do we have here? It looks like some sort of creature.
We found this in the Forbidden Chamber. It's an Azuki Kozo figure. The great thief Azuki Kozo used to leave them at the scene of his crimes. Are you suggesting that Tenmataro has been stolen? Yep. Phineas Filch's grandfather, a master thief, was the culprit. And by that hideous moronic caretaker's grandfather, no less? No! My beautiful golden Tenmataro was... The greed inspired by Tenmataro can no longer bring ruin upon Ninetales Vale. Isn't that right, Mayor Tenma?
The root of the tragedy would indeed seem to be gone. In fact, I now recall the alderman revealing the secret to me on the day of our meeting. He must have been speaking of Tenmataro, for he said to me the gold ingot was gone.
The gold ingot? You mean the treasure that is Tenmataro's true form?
Recall, if you will, the scroll in the Forbidden Chamber. Tenmataro is a yellowish object shown there. A giant gold ingot that my nomadic ancestors bestowed upon Ninetales Vale. In return for the gold my ancestors did receive from Ninetales Vale, land that would become Tenmatau. But drive the villagers mad with greed did the great fortune. Bitter was their greed-fueled battle. It was as if they were possessed. My ancestors' gold became the curse upon the village, a curse of ruin. Thus it was that the yokai Tenmataro came to be.
So Tenmataro and the village superstitions were mere fairy tales to scare people away?
Fairy tale or not,
Tenmataro made quite the mess of things.
Yes, indeed, for there's no greater monster than a mortal man's lust for gold.
Well, you know what they say. The love of money is the root of all evil.
Yep.
My ancestors did bring a terrible thing here to Ninetales Vale. A thing so terrible that Tenmataro, a monster just as terrible, had to be created to keep it a secret.
Yet we have not but love for the little village to which we owe our very existence.
Tenmatau would never seek to take over Ninetales Vale in a merger. Oh my, that was quite a shocking lesson in history.
Mr. Mayor, now that we know Tenmataro no longer exists, are you ready to admit your secret? You are the amazing Ninetales, aren't you?
No! Don't do it! Please, no!
Why? You scared?
Begone, you demented demon! Now, where was I? The Golden Lord of Yokai, the amazing Ninetales, is indeed me.
And that means Jinxie.
Yes?
The man wearing the mayor's clothes, who you saw collapsed in the Fox Chamber. Was he wearing the amazing Ninetales mask?
Uh-huh. That's what made me think it was Papa. He said he was going to reveal his secret identity to Alderman QB that day, so... So, it really wasn't Papa I saw there, was it?
It was Florent's idea from the start. He advised me to reveal my secret identity to the Alderman.
Yeesh, Rube Goldberg machines have less elaborate setups than LaBelle's scheme.
You may rest easy now, little Jinxie. That monster's deception is over.
The true facts behind this case have finally come to light. Mayor Tenma did not kill Alderman QB, but Florent LaBelle did. How dare you, peasant!
Oh, me arms!
It's almost breaking, come on! We're so close!
Justice, Dodo. You should at least have a real blade in your hands if you desire to cross swords with me. Or have you mistaken this battlefield for a training ground?
What's this guy want now? Evidence is like a razor-sharp blade that cuts through bone as though it were butter. But you have only blind guesses, a dull blade incapable of cutting even a cake.
He has you there, Mr. Justice. After all, evidence is everything in a court of law.
They're right. Let's see some evidence. Of course, a perfect being like me wouldn't leave any incriminating evidence behind. This is the final battle. Just as a samurai must live and die by the sword, you will live or die by the evidence you hold. My swift blade of judgment awaits. Now, present your conclusive evidence, or don't you have any? Oh, crud. Do I have anything conclusive?
Of course I do!
Evidence? Oh, I have evidence.
You do?
Of course! It's just the conclusive evidence we need, too. I'm going to finally prove Mayor Tenma's innocent. Here comes justice. Let's review the facts. The most damning evidence against the mayor was the crime scene itself. The mayor and the victim are the only two people found in the room. Also, we thought the alderman was killed because he was the amazing Ninetales. But as we know now, of course, we were way off. The amazing Ninetales is really Mayor Damien Tenma. That's why his daughter Jinxie saw the amazing Ninetales collapse at the scene. She mistook him for her father. Those are the facts we've revealed. However, Mr. LaBelle asserts that he did not leave any evidence at the scene of the crime. But he didn't see anything about evidence outside the crime scene. Maybe he isn't as clever as he thinks he is. Does any of the evidence found outside the crime scene prove any clues?
The mask.
Oh, I know. The amazing Ninetales' mask. It was found washed up along the river. What sort of clue does that mask hold?
White hair.
And what about the hair left in the mask? Who does it belong to?
Florent LaBelle.
The white hair is LaBelle's. All right, that hair is Florent LaBelle's. Yes, now that's what I call conclusive evidence.
Well, Mr. Justice, do you have any conclusive evidence to present to the court?
Of course I do. Observe this mask, if you will.
That mask? How is that conclusive evidence?
It's not the mask itself, but the white hair inside it. We originally thought it belonged to Alderman Rex Cuby.
Yes, the amazing Ninetales, as we know, is Mayor Tenma, so...
That is correct. So the question is, whose hair could this be? And the answer to that is the last person to have worn it before it was discarded. That would be you, Mr. Florent LaBelle.
What are you talking about? I never had hideous white hair like that.
Silence.
It would appear your coup de grace failed to hit its mark. This freakish fop is not the white-haired type. Because he's busy being one ludicrously garish color or another.
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Blackwell. It's you who has made a fatal error.
What?
Remember where this mask was found? It washed up by the side of the river. With that in mind, this last piece of evidence will solve all the remaining riddles.
Color me LaBelle. Not the hand cream, the hair gel.
Take that!
Oh! Ooh, that's... What is that?
This is Mr. LaBelle's own private brand of hair color. It washes out with just water. The court will also recall that the amazing Ninetales mask washed up along the side of the village river with white hair inside it.
What's this? Are you saying that Queening Peacock's hair color is...
That's exactly what I'm saying. Mr. LaBelle's hair color is a freaky work of fiction. But thanks to the river flowing through Ninetales Vale, we now have a real-life exposé. The white hair in this mask is conclusive evidence proving you're the real killer. A DNA test is all we need to prove it, and we both know we'll get a match. Admit it. Florent LaBelle, you were the one who killed Alderman Rex Cuby.
You peasant! How dare you! You profane my beauty! I'm going to exterminate you like I did the alderman!
Gotcha, bitch!
My makeup!
Bingo.
Hello, this is LaBelle. What? The project is off? This is LaBelle. The sponsors have pulled out. LaBelle speaking. I'm fired? You mean I'm no longer Mayor Tenma's aide? Hello, this is LaBelle. What? There's a stratospheric damages claim against me? $100 million? I'm finished! Washed up! Stick a fork in me! I'm done!
The number you're trying to reach has been disconnected. Goodbye!
This is preposterous. I, Simon Blackwell, defeated.
Order! Order! Order in the court! Well, this is quite the unexpected outcome. I must hand it to you, Mr. Justice. You really turned this case on its head, just like the other lawyer, Phoenix Wright.
Wait, that was a compliment, right?
Prosecutor Blackwell, what have you done with Florent LaBelle?
The defaced man with the withered... the defaced man has withered like a flower without water. One of the officers is currently tending to him with a sprinkler. Wouldn't that just wash even more of his makeup off? Allow me to explain the actions of the guilty party in detail. The motive, of course, was to steal the gold ingot known as Tenma Taro. However, few are allowed into the manor due to its cultural ties to Ninetales Vale. LaBelle set in motion plans to gain access to the manor and the gold within via the merger. But the efforts of the amazing Ninetales saw those plans come to a halt. And thus LaBelle murdered the alderman and attempted to pin the blame on Mayor Tenma.
I see. But what I still can't comprehend is, why would he go after the gold in the first place? Mr. LaBelle doesn't look like someone who's in need of financial aid.
LaBelle hid his past well, much like he hid his beauty with makeup. He's mired in debt. Debt due to pouring money into a brand only he could love. Which is why he sought the gold with such veracity. Too bad for him. Someone else had gotten to it first anyway.
I see. Very well then. I believe it's time I declared a verdict. This court finds a defendant, Damien Tenma. Ha 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 ha! I'm free!
Someone be like, you win this round, Justice Dono.
Court is adjourned.
That was some seriously good lawyering, Apollo. Even I didn't see that coming. Just got lucky, I guess. You banished Tenma Taro from Ninetales Vale like you were some kind of exorcist.
There's still one thing I don't understand. How come Mr. LaBelle didn't kill Mayor Tenma too? He could have said the mayor murdered the alderman and died from a counterattack. That would have removed at least one possible fly from the ointment.
I was wondering about that too. But I have a hunch LaBelle was biding his time. He was planning on exposing the amazing Ninetales' true identity himself. Huh? But why? Because the mayor was the amazing Ninetales. Had LaBelle succeeded in framing Mayor Tenma for the alderman's murder, the wrestler's popularity would have plummeted once his identity was revealed. Oh, I get it. If the amazing Ninetales was just killed, he'd die a hero. But if he was proved a villain, his fans would abandon him, making the merger that much easier. Right. Then, when the merger was complete and everything cooled down, he'd be able to search the Forbidden Chamber at his leisure.
What an insanely intricate plot! Welcome to Role-Based Attorney.
Ha ha! A most excellent job clearing my name. A feat worthy of the Demon Lord's approval.
Why are you acting like Tenma Taro again?
Let this be of no concern to you.
How could it not concern me?
Matano, be gone!
Ah!
Jinxie! Seems like ages since I've laid eyes on you.
But you're finally back!
Yes. It would seem Tenma Taro is no match for you. Ha ha ha!
I'm not scared of that silly yokai anymore. Your father's a free man now, Jinxie. Isn't that great? Thank you for all you've done. Seeing you guys in action, it made me feel like I don't have to be afraid anymore. Aw, she's smiling!
Wait, is Jinxie actually smiling? This is all thanks to you two. Too bad the amazing Ninetales will have to retire, though.
Aw, how come?
Once everyone hears I'm the amazing Ninetales, my fan base will nosedive. After all, I'm not the most popular of people. Another reason for my secret identity. I don't see how it could possibly continue.
I think you misjudged yourself. Take a look outside.
Say, now that you mention it, what's all that noise out there? A big crowd gathered outside the courthouse once the news broke. Seems they want to get a glimpse of Mayor Damien Tenma, the man behind the mask. And to root for your return to the wrestling ring. Rooting for me? I thought I was nothing more than a malefactor in their eyes.
The only one who really matters is Jinxie. Show her how cool you really are. Yeah, you're really coolest when you're out there fighting in the ring, Papa.
Jinxie. Here, I think you'll be needing this.
The mask.
Take that!
Thank you. Now if you would excuse me. I don't want to keep my fans waiting.
He's gonna don the mask. Oh!
9 Tails Veil forever!
I sure hope they can solve the problems between Tenma Town and Ninetales Vale.
Me too. I'm sure they'll be fine. After all, the blackmailer slash killer is behind bars and the merger is no longer an issue. Plus, the Amazing Ninetales is obviously still a hit, and I suspect Ninetales Vale will be too. And it's all because we believed in our client, just like you said.
Okay, people. Now that we've got that one in the bag, let's go get something to eat. I'm starving.
Sounds good. I've been so nervous I haven't eaten since yesterday.
Better keep eating, Apollo. Or you might have to start looking up at me.
Huh? I'm definitely past my growth phase, and you should be about past yours too. Actually, you stopped growing at 21, so she's still got some growing to...
Yep. Are you kidding me? I'm just getting started. Ready or not, it's space stuffing time.
Keep eating like that, and the only direction you'll grow is sideways.
Oh, very funny.
Sounds like something I'd say.
But I've got a hollow leg. I can eat as much as I want without getting an ounce.
Really? Wow, I can't wait to see this.
Calories? Ha! Just let them try to stick on me.
Alright already, you two. Let's get going before the old man closes shop. Eldon's Noodles isn't an all-night stand, you know.
Hey!
I'm with Mr. Wright. Let's go.
I've been waiting to have a bowl from there ever since Mr. Wright told me about them. Well, what are we waiting for?
Hope you've got water with you. The noodles are on me today, so I expect some serious eating from you two.
Yay! Thanks, boss! I won't let you down.
Athena has no idea what she's getting into. Mr. Eldon's noodles are so hot and salty. 2 bowls would kill a man.
That was our first case together. And it felt like nothing could bring us down after that. The dark age of the law seemed so distant, so irrelevant to our small, cozy office. But little did I know that it had been lurking all along, right there behind us. The first time it made me feel self-known was during the murder at Themis Legal Academy. That case would mark the twilight before the dark, cold night that was to come.
Ominous.
Ooh. We did it!
Whew. Seriously, I hope the next trials are a bit more gender balanced.
It is, because next time is, the next case is Apollo and Athena versus the Board of Education.
Yeah.
It's like, no, really, it's the Board of Education.
Basically, yeah.
Yep, the next case will be Turnabout Academy. And yes, it's gonna be much gender balanced.
Thank God. But hey, at least I didn't get a tickle in my throat this time.
Yeah.
Because I had to get that at the worst possible time.
I know.
But yeah, we've wrapped up case 2, and my God, these cases are so much longer than the original games.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything to say before we go?
Nope, I'm good.
Alright folks, thank you for tuning in, and tune in next week for more GTA Liberty City stories and the craziness that'll bring in.
Yep. See you next time.
Goodbye!